Hello everyone, welcome along to another video. John here. Now, I was just doing a poll in my Facebook Blues group, and the poll was, what would you like to see more lessons on? And overwhelmingly, the thing you'd like to see more lessons on is kind of putting licks together and soloing and kind of using chords as well. So let's have a look at that today. Now, the interesting thing is Alex made a comment and he said, isn't all those top things, you know, the soloing, isn't that something that you've just got to do yourself, you know, put it together? And in a way, you're right, but I'll try and help you to understand how you might start doing that, you know, because it can be a big subject. Now, just before we begin, I'd like to say that, you know, when you watch videos on YouTube and Facebook and all these things, there's really not one video which is going to give you all the answers. You know, there are little bits you watch here, little bits you watch here, someone tells you something, and over the years you pick up, you know, the techniques and things that you want to achieve. But the key here is when you're watching these videos and you learn people's solos, that's great, learn the solos, but you have to understand the concept. Otherwise, when you come to do it yourself, it doesn't mean anything. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take a 12-bar blues, or the first two chords of a 12-bar blues, and we're going to make something up using some of the techniques that we've learned in the Essential Blues series, which is at the top. If you haven't checked that out, it's on my YouTube channel and it's on my Facebook page too, Essential Blues, and it covers all these techniques that we're going to use. All right, so I'm going to do the first two chords of a 12-bar blues. We're going to make something up. I haven't prepared anything, and then we'll talk about what we're doing. All right, so 12-bar blues. All right, so we're just going to go A to D. All right, so what we want to do is we want to kind of play a chord, and then we're going to play a lick. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Now, obviously, I'll play something, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So. All right, so let's talk about that. What did I do there? Well, I'm thinking that here's an A7 chord, so I don't want to just go. We want to have a little chord, then we want to play a phrase. Okay, so what could we do? Well, so now what did I do there? Well, decided I'd use the major pentatonic scale, all right, and you can combine that with the minor pentatonic scale. All right, so the first thing I did is I played that chord, and that's all really major. I've got a little bend in there to bend to this note here, which is the minor pentatonic. Then I finished on that minor, but bent it up to this note here, which is C sharp, which really is the major. Okay, now. Okay, now what I did was I went to the D chord, D9 chord, and then I just did this. Okay, now why did I do that? Well, what I was thinking there was, I was thinking of the D7 arpeggio. Now, if these things don't mean anything to you, the minor pentatonic, the major pentatonic, the arpeggios, let that help you in terms of, it tells you what to practice. So if you think to yourself, I don't know what the minor pentatonic is, well, go away and learn it. It's up the top, all right? And if you think, I don't know what, you know, a D7 arpeggio is, which is what I was just using for this next idea, go away and learn it. So whatever you don't know, let it help you. You know, don't think, oh, I don't know what that is. It's too tricky. All you need to do is is go and learn it, and they're all up the top there. So what I was thinking on when I played the D was this arpeggio shape for D. All right, now again, have a look at that. So I was thinking, now that note there, see that isn't in the arpeggio, but that note is, so I was bending to that one from there. I did a ghost note there, like a country thing. So let's go from the top. Let's see if we can understand that together. So. All right, now at that point in the blues, we go back to an A7 chord again. So you know, when I did this, you can do the same thing there. Now I'm going to use this minor pentatonic scale to go back to the A. Now there's your A. Now if you don't know the notes, which you should do, if you don't know them, learn them. They're up the top again. Let it help you. See, you can go by the chord. There's this note here. So I'm just going to bend into that note. And there, here on the 7th fret, as well as this being in the pentatonic scale, it's also the A note, which is what they call the root note. So you definitely want to land on an A note if you're in the blues in A. So I played that. So let's see if we can put that together, see if I can remember that. So, okay, all right, so that's some ideas. Let's just finish this kind of idea off with something else. What could we use now? I'm trying to think of another technique I could use. What about if we use some sixes? That's a good idea. So we did those sixes before, so let's try and include those. So let's just think. So there we go, there's sixes in A. And what you can do is you can go back from there. That's from, if you think about it, it's the major scale. Do, re, mi, and then I'm going back from mi, re, do. So, and you can go chromatically down there. We talked about this in another video. So let's go from the top again, put it together, see if it makes sense. Now, I changed it there slightly, didn't I? Because I couldn't remember what I played. Let's see. Okay, I think that was what I played. Anyway, okay, so now, great. So we've combined those two things, major and minor pentatonic. Now, you can learn that. Obviously, you can learn that and you can take that. It's great. And if it helps you, that's wonderful. But we want to understand the concept. So let's try something else with the same thing. Let's do the same chords and see if we can come up with something different. So let's see what we come up with. So. Okay, so now what am I doing now? Well, now I've chosen to use the blues scale. So I played the chord. So I'm using that blues scale there. So within there, you've got all these nice things. I like going back to that note there. Now here, I just for this D9 chord, I just really went back to the minor pentatonic scale. with a little bend there on the 5th fret. All right, so. And I'm finishing, that's a D note I'm finishing on there. Now of course we're going back to the A, so what could we do there? You can try and think of a technique that you like, maybe you like bending. So what about we just bend from a G note to an A note? So let's see how that sounds with a bit of feeling. So So to go back to the A, I just bent that G note. It's in the pentatonic scale. G to A, or there's G to A there, of course. All right, so. That bit, sorry, before that, when you're improvising, you do things, you know, so it's, I just played 5 to 7 there. Okay, now sometimes you can let your ears help you and see what do you kind of hear, and if you listen to a lot of blues music you may hear something else after that. So what have we got? We've got A. That there, after that one, what I did there was a Jimi Hendrix idea, which I ripped off. All these ideas I've ripped off, by the way. So I'm just bending that, and I catch this 8th fret, the blues scale note, underneath this finger. So as I bend up, and then I take that 5th fret, bend that to that note, and finished on the A. See if I can put that together. See if I can remember that. So. Now there, why did I do that, do you think? Well, that's the A, C, A, C. It was the same note. So anyway, you can play A, C, A, C, A, C, A. Anyway, you can do that. You can do these ideas. So there we go. So we're trying to incorporate techniques. That's the biggest thing from this, is use all your skills. So you've got all these options in your tool bag: minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, you've got 6s, what else have you got? You've got bends, of course. Okay, you got bends, you got double stops, and you got arpeggios. So all these things you should be really trying to think of. And obviously, if you only know one thing, that's all right. If you only know the pentatonic scale, so you can still use that, but the more little tools that you've got, the more it's going to make your playing sound a bit more sophisticated. All right, so I hope that's all right. What I want you to get from this lesson is, I know you know all this stuff already. You've probably got loads of licks, which you can play. So, but you've got to put them together. All right, no one is going to do that for you. And if you don't know something, that's great. Let your inability help you. So if you think, gosh, I don't know what he's going on about with 12-bar blues, well, learn it. There's a billion videos out there. If you don't know what an arpeggio is, learn it. So let it help you. And you don't have to practice 24 hours a day to get good. All you need to do is focus on something. So, you know, just do it for a week. So you think, right, well, what don't I know? For example, I don't know an arpeggio. I don't know this. Well, you can go and learn it. It's an A7 arpeggio. All right, I've done all the arpeggio shapes up the top there. So, you know, just learn it, and that's great. And then you'll know it, and you'll know it forever. Then you can see if you can incorporate it in your playing. And that's the thing that takes a little time, because if you're used to playing the pentatonic scale, and then someone says, oh, you've got to add this arpeggio in there, you know, you might at first be going, you know, you'll get lost, you know, and that happens to all of us. That's why that's why I say you have to put it together. And you know, you can watch a billion videos, but none of them are going to help you to do that. That is something that you have to do. So I hope that helps. Try and change it. I always never try and play the same thing twice if I can. Always trying to push it creatively. So one more little example. Say for example, say that was our first lick of our solo. What I might do is next time you could slide to it. For the first time. Second time. So you can try all these things and you have a better palette for your playing. So I hope that helps. Nice to see you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.